Hey guys, we are 2 weeks into Ulduar, and right now I have been seeing a lot of confusion on this fight in particular, General Vezax. I want to explain how you can use the pool to maximize your damage, and hopefully get a hard mode kill in as well to get that juicy flare. Hope you enjoy. Alright everyone, let's get straight into it. Name of the game today, Mr. General Vezax. This is the bane of a lot of groups recently. I've seen people struggle to clear this on normal mode as well, and I want to go through the important mechanics of the fight from a caster perspective, so you can maximize your damage and go through logs of successful casters to figure out what are they sacrificing to save their mana in order to do the most damage to the Animus and to kill off Vez as possible. Alright, straight into it. This is, you immediately get this debuff when the fight begins, where you generate no mana. So you're generating no mana over the fight during General Vezax, and you have to figure out how can I conserve my mana so I have enough to kill the Animus and maintain a decent amount of damage on the boss. And this is where the Shadow Crash comes in. After General Vezax throws out a Shadow Crash, he leaves a pool. This pool increases our damage dramatically. It increases our casting speed by 100%, increases our magical damage by 100%, it lasts 20 seconds, and reduces mana cost. This is the important bit, is reducing mana cost. Now, what I did is I went through all the logs of some of the top damage performers of each class, and we're going to go through what they did, and I will show you a summary at the end of what I assume to be what they're doing, and I encourage you to look into logs as well and try to discover people that are performing and compare them to your own. And the first one I want to look at is Mr. Al himself, the God King Parser Supreme. So you can see one thing jumps out immediately when you're looking through his logs. His Drain Soul damage is massive. If you look at when he's using Drain Soul, you can see that he's using it periodically in the beginning, and there's no drain phase here. There's no Animus out. He's just using it, he's holding it, he's holding it. And why is he doing that? It's because Drain Soul is a very mana efficient spell. It looks like he's dropping abilities such as keeping up UA at certain points in the fight. He's dropping abilities like keeping up Haunt at certain points of the fight when he's getting close. He's dropping Agony almost completely except on the Animus, so it looks like he's maintaining UA, Haunt, rolling Corruptions on Vezax, probably using the Drain Soul as a means of doing that. Every time the first stick of Drain redoes the Corruption, so you can roll a Corruption the entire time with Drain and still use UA and Haunt and maintain massive damage. And it looks like he's using Curse of Doom as well at points in the beginning when you can get a full one off. It looks like it's hitting like a truck. It's hitting for 32k each time. So for Affliction Warlocks, you want to maintain Corruption, roll it with Drain Soul, probably use your Shadow Bolt procs. You'll be getting a lot given that Corruption will be ticking so quickly. Haunt, UA, and then put Curse of Doom up when you're just kind of vibing. Moving on to Demo, I was pretty surprised at this one looking at the top parsers. I saw that Piss Maxing was only using mostly Soulfire. There's not a single Incinerate here. There's very little Shadow Bolts here. He was scheming up Curse of Doom, Corruptioning the almost none at all in the like once in the beginning and then near the end, and then for the Animus. So no Corruption at all for most of the fight. Using Drain Soul as that very mana efficient ability as a filler at the end, in the middle, so we can have mana to do this at the end. He's just breaking down Soulfires. I'm like, how is he doing this without Decimation procs? And then I went into his buffs and looked at Decimation. Decimation was only coming up at the end, so he was just burning Soul Shards, Soulfire, 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 which was really cool to see. I didn't think about this strategy before. And he was just putting up Dooms the entire time as well. So getting 3 Dooms off. This is a pretty fast kill. This is a 5.5 minute, almost the cusp of 6 minutes. 5:49. So for Demo, we're gonna want to break out our Soulfires, maintain our Immolates because this is a mana efficient spell. Use Drain Soul if you think you're going to be running out of mana or you're having a tough time with your mana pool. You spent too much on something. Drop Shadow Bolt almost completely except when the Animus comes out or it's near the end of the fight. Looks like he used a few min-rank Shadow Bolts to maintain the buff at certain points in the fight, which is kind of smart in my opinion, and use your curses accordingly. So cool strategies here, and we're gonna move on to Shadow Priest. Shadow Priest, I was racking my brain around what this guy was doing, and the first thing I noticed was there's not a single Mind Blast at all. at a single Mind Blast, and she rolled Shadow Word Pain the entire time with Mind Flay, which is what we assume. Mind Flay would be the highest spell. Kept Vampiric Touch up the entire time. Kept Devouring Plague up most of the time. Dropped it a few times, probably to save mana for when the Animus came out. And used Shadow Fiend only once, and probably Death once. You gotta be very careful with Shadow Word Death here, because it does do 100% more damage. You can very easily kill yourself with Shadow Word Death as a Shadow Priest, so be very wary of how much health you have, and you don't want to be a strain on the mana of your healers, because, as we know, they don't get any back. There's a few ways to cheese, but we don't really care right now. So, as a priest, drop Mind Blast completely, Devouring Plague when you can, keep Vamp Touch and Shadow Word Pain rolling as long as you can, and break out the Mind Flays, and you'll have a great time. Moving on to Boomkin. I didn't see anything particularly weird about this rotation for Boomkins. I think Boomkin rotation is already extremely mana efficient, and going into this, I think he just did his normal rotation with Starfire, and then when he swapped to between Eclipse Solar and Eclipse Lunar, he would just swap to Wrath, and it was very consistent the entire time. And this is the 100 parsing Boomkin in the world, Mr. Tralis. Insect Swarm, he basically kept it up the whole time, and Moonfire also basically the entire time. Starfold on cooldown, and I didn't see anything particularly unusual about this, and this is a 6-minute kill, and he was able to maintain this the entire time, staying in the pool, doing the normal rotation. So Boomkins kind of have an easier time, it looks like, with their mana on this fight. And I mean, maybe he has a lot of gear already. He's a few Conqueror's pieces, he's got Ice Core Staff, but nothing insane, right? He still has a bunch of pieces from last phase, so I think Boomkins have an easier time kind of controlling their mana on this fight, which is great for them. And Boomkins, I've seen Boomkins destroy Warlocks and Shadow Priests on this fight, so we love Boomkins here. Next is Mage. I think if you're not playing Arcane on this fight, you're trolling, because Arcane does insane damage. I went for the first time and did this fight on my Mage in 25-man, and we did hard mode, and it was a blast. Like, I had so much fun playing Arcane on this fight. And if you want success as Arcane on this fight, what I found is that you Arcane Blast three times max. When you hit that third one, if you don't have a Missiles proc, you just let the buff fall off naturally, probably by walking out for a Shadow Crash and walking in, which you have to do anyway, which is very efficient. And if you're Arcane Blasting, immediately when you get a Missiles proc, you rip it. So Arcane Blast, Arcane Blast, Arcane Blast, no Missile proc, you wait. Arcane Blast, you get a Missile proc, rip Missiles. Then you're back to your first Arcane Blast, Missiles proc, go. And it is a lot of damage, because especially with your cooldowns between Arcane Power and Icy Veins, you're popping everything on cool. It's so much damage. It's a great time, and I think Arcane Mage is probably the best class for General Vezax. And as you can see, like 4.5 million damage, did almost 1 million to the Animus as well. It's crazy how efficient the mages are here, and you have mirror images and you have invis to break any sort of threat issues that you have. It's so nice. I love playing my mage on General Vez. And the last thing is that the Ellie, which is a little bit less played, but I still want to talk about it anyways. They are a relevant caster, and it's important that if you have an Ellie in the raid, that they're optimizing as much as they can. And it looks like this was the top Ellie I found. And he just kind of drops Lava Burst when he feels like he doesn't have enough mana anymore, and he wants to save for the Animus, and rolling Flame Shock almost the entire time, except for right about when the Animus comes out, getting ready, getting in position. Lightning Bolts almost the entire time until it doesn't feel comfortable with mana anymore. I think in all these classes, if you have around like 40 to 45% mana, you will have plenty. So that's the goal. You save, you cast in the pool, you move efficiently, don't die to Shadow Crash. And if you follow the success of some of the players that I've laid out for your class, I think you will have a fantastic time doing Vez, and you'll find that Vez is a lot more enjoyable than people are making it out to be. Because as a caster, having any damage buff that's specifically for us, like Hodir, like this fight is as fun as Hodir to me, where I can gather all these buffs and find ways to maximize more damage. I took some notes on each of the classes and what they're doing to be mana efficient as possible, and I will leave these in the description for your discretion, and I will leave links to the people that I analyzed for you to look at yourself. And I hope you all have a fantastic time doing General Vez. I hope this helps. Thank you for making it this far into the video. I think it's very important that people are able to optimize most bosses, if not all bosses. And I've been doing a lot of runs recently where I feel like people don't understand how to use the pool effectively or how to conserve the mana to accomplish hard mode. And I want everybody to be able to get their flares because it's a massive DPS upgrade and it lasts multiple phases. If you like what you saw, please drop a follow, also subscribe, helps immensely. If you disagree with something that I said, drop in the comments, or if you agreed. Hopefully, I can see you next time. Peace.